Okay, we're moving on now to AlUla, which is one of 5 really big projects in Saudi Arabia. I'm lucky enough to have actually been there. I don't know if anybody else has been to Saudi Arabia. Anyone else been to Saudi Arabia here? Very good. Interesting to go there. They are basically, just before COVID happened, they were kind of on a big push for tourism. I think 100 million by 2030. I think there's a rough figure that they wanted to go for. And one of the projects is this old Nabatean heritage site, which as I said, I was lucky enough to go to. Madain Salah, it's also called, isn't it, I think, is the other name for it. And it was the second largest city of the Nabateans. I'm not going to try to take away all your stuff. Which was a group of people who settled across ancient Arabia and the Jordan Valley until their empire was annexed by the Romans in 106 CE. Now it's a kind of like a vast necropolis, and it's fascinating. But I'm going to get somebody who knows much more about it to tell you about it. Nicolas Lefebvre, please come to the stage. Good luck.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. So it's my pleasure this afternoon to present to you this amazing place, which is AlUla. And it's not, of course, not only being there in Evora in this meeting today just to present you this place, but also to present and to discuss maybe with you what is this new tourism project, a very recent one. I will come back to this. And of course, I think we have a lot to learn of our discussion today and tomorrow on what is the future of tourism, especially in a place like that where there is a lot room to build new initiatives for the tourism of the next century. So I'd like first, if you allow me, to have a quick walk, because a part of our friend, I think, nobody was there still. I'm sure it will come in the coming years. So maybe with a quick video, we can have a first look on this place for you to have an idea of what it is. So please, first video. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, thank you. I hope you appreciate these images. So let me tell you a few words on both AlUla and the project. What is AlUla first? AlUla is both a region in Saudi Arabia and a city. It's a region the size of Slovenia, to give you an idea. So it's like a small country, small European country like Slovenia. And it's also a city, the capital city of the region, which is a small city. It's something like 45,000 inhabitants. And to give you an idea, this region is, of course, mainly a desert, because there is not more than 50 to 60,000 people living in this region, the size of the Slovenia. But it's also more important to know, it's an amazing oasis, wonderful oasis in the middle of amazing mountains and rocks. You have seen some images. It's also a place, very important to know, it's a place very rich of history. It has been the place where several civilizations across the ages have settled in this region. And among them, like you mentioned earlier, the Nabatean one. It's one of the several civilizations dating back to the Neolithic era. So we have something like 8,000 years of history in this place. And among them, as was mentioned before, the Nabateans. So the Nabatean was a civilization just before our era, just before Christ, BC. And they are the city there. So it was 500 kilometers from Petra. Petra was the capital of this kingdom. And they were there, and nowadays, the place where they are, there is no more city there, but there is hundreds of tombs. It's an amazing site, archaeological site, amazing one, with certain tombs carved in the rocks. And it's nowadays, it's listed in the World Heritage Site of the UNESCO, of course. It was, by the way, the first heritage site on the UNESCO list for Saudi Arabia. And this place is also a crossroad. It's very important to have that in mind also. It's a crossroad on the incense road, who during centuries and centuries crossed the Arabian Peninsula from the south, the current Yemen, to the Mediterranean Sea with Egypt, Byzantine Empire, Greece, and Rome. And so during centuries and centuries, caravans were passing by this place, this oasis. And by the way, it rings to me, of course, the bell of tourism. So meaning that this place has been a place of tourism for millennia. And it's no more the case at the moment, but one of the aim of the project is for this place to rebirth other tourism place. And more recently, of course, this place was also a stop on the pilgrimage road, one of the pilgrimage roads from Muslim to Mecca and Medina. Mecca being 300 kilometers from this place, so rather a short distance from AlUla. The other thing now is that this place has been chosen by the authorities in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to become one of the major tourist places in the future. Because as you may know, according to the strategy adopted in 2016, called Vision 2030, they decided to develop the tourism industry in this country, which is brand new for this country, because as you may know, Saudi Arabia is not at all known as a tourist country at the moment. So the big decision was to decide that they want to develop this industry and to open the country to tourists, which is very, very new for them. And AlUla is one of the places they decided to develop to become one of the major tourist destinations in this country. And the one, of course, as you can guess, the one dedicated to heritage, culture, and nature. And the mix, the place where we can see nature and culture together as a cultural landscape, as they like to say, and as also say UNESCO. By the way, I need to say a few words, because this place is also, and that's the reason why I'm here with you today. This place and this project was a subject to an agreement between France and Saudi Arabia, an intergovernmental agreement signed 3 years ago in 2018. With this cooperation agreement, we can say French commits to support, assist, and bring expertise to the Saudi teams to help them to build and develop this project. So that's why the French government 3 years ago set up this agency, the French Agency for the Development of AlUla. I work for this agency. It's a French agency, but working very closely with the partner in Saudi Arabia, which is the Royal Commission for AlUla. And our goal is to support them, to help them, and being a small team of experts in the different fields which are required to have this project delivered. Of course, tourism and hospitality, which is my part, if I can say that, but also far other things like architecture, planning, agriculture, archaeology and culture, of course, botanics, and of course, very important one also, education and training, as you may guess. So if I may also a few words on the project itself for you to understand what it is. So as I said, it's first of all a project for AlUla to become a major tourist destination in Saudi Arabia, part of this big plan I mentioned a few minutes ago. But it's not only that. It's a project very much based on conservation, preservation of the nature and environment there, based on sustainability, based on involvement of the local population. Because as I mentioned, it's a kind of desert, but there is people living there. It's an oasis. There is about 50,000 people, as I mentioned, living there. And it's very much also a local development project, not only tourism. It's far more than tourism. It's about local developments for the regions and for the population, the local community there. The project is also for them to bring new opportunities for the people living there, opportunity in terms of jobs, of course, of education, of trainings, and for new activities for them. And the last thing I wanted to mention also, very importantly, speaking, as we several times mentioned, the domestic tourism, it's important also to have in mind that this place has very much to do, as you understood, with history and the ancient history of this place of the world, of the Arabic Peninsula. And when I say ancient history, it means history before Islam, before the 7th century. If I came back to the Neolithic period, to the ancient Arabian kingdoms from the first millennia before Christ, to the Nabatean, I mentioned just before Christ, and other civilizations coming at that time. So it's a place where you can discover and learn on the history of this region before Islam. And for Saudi, it's very important to know that, because this is brand new. This place was something totally unknown a few years ago, even from Saudi people, because especially it referred to history which was not very welcome in this country. And now the great change is that is something very new. This is something the Saudis want to put in front, and they want to local people, Saudi people, and people from the region also, of course, from Emirates, from Oman, from Kuwait, from Bahrain, to come along with the Saudi people to discover this very ancient history, the one which we can see in AlUla. So we are now in the situation where the master plan, or I would say the major master plan, has been approved a few months ago. And so we are now beginning the new phase of implementation of this plan. And to give you a quick idea of what this is supposed to become, I'd like to now shoot another video on this project, which will explain you very briefly what is the project based on the master plan. So thank you very much for the second video.
There is a unique place where humans, nature and culture have thrived together for millennia. A place where breathtaking natural landscapes encounter the creative genius of humanity. A place where local communities have built a cultural bond between our past and our future. Welcome to AlUla. Today, we open the next chapter of AlUla's legacy, the Journey Through Time Master Plan, unveiled by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud. Today, we are bringing life to the world's largest living museum, where contemporary art coexists with ancient heritage in a seamless celebration. From AlUla Old Town in the south to Hegra Historical City in the north, 5 distinct cultural districts emerge, inspired by their own natural environment. Anchored by 5 iconic heritage sites and 15 new cultural assets, each district becomes a unique art gallery while nurturing the environment and preserving historical sites. AlUla Old Town, the heart of culture. Daran, the ancient kingdoms. Jabal Ikma, the ageless library. Nabatean Horizon, the living harmony. Hegra Historical City, witness of ancient times. We create a new legacy inspired by our past and turned to the future. The rejuvenated cultural oasis reappears, flourishing, productive, enchanting. Running along its bed, the Wadi of Hospitality, a 20-kilometer-long green corridor, will offer an authentic journey through cultural landscapes and natural wonders. Today, we are committed to preserve this unique heritage for generations to come, while making AlUla a thriving place to work and live once more. Join us in opening the next chapter in AlUla's legacy.
Thank you, yes. Thank you so much.
Just stay there a second, please, guys. A couple of things I'd like to ask you. Out of interest, when you first went to Saudi, were you surprised about how much they were engaged in these kind of projects? Did you have a preconception?
No, to be frank with you, I think as many French people at least, and nothing even European, I guess, the first thing I need to mention, I have no idea of what is Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia was only oil and Islam. That's it. And of course, I must say, please don't repeat it. I had a very low interest in that country at the time. But this race is made that I had to give interest to that. And it was a huge surprise to me. A huge surprise from 2 points of view. The first point of view is, which is very understandable, since I had no idea, I discovered an amazing country with a great potential from a tourist point of view, great potential, very nice people, which is very interesting too, because, yes, very nice people. And at the same time, which is on the other side of it, it's a country very much changing very quickly. And in fact, today has nothing to do with what we European people have in mind. It's totally different. And of course, it was a very important reason for me to agree to join this project, because part of that I'm sure I will not be able to go there. But this country raised a lot of questions, of course, to be frank with you. But it's amazing the way it changes and the way it is able to launch projects like this one and others.
And when it comes to sustainability, is it only just with the heritage sites where you can see why that would work? Yes, you can involve the local community. Yes, it can be sustainable. But they've got a big Red Sea project. There's other projects there. I know that you're not part of that. But is that ethos, that mindset very much there as well? So sustainability everywhere now.
Yes. When you look at the speeches, the documents, it's very clear. So they have great ambition from a sustainability point of view, at least from an environmental point of view. So this is sure for the one I'm looking with, which is AlUla. Probably it's easier, as you mentioned, but probably it's easier because it's very much on nature, culture, heritage. So you need to have to be very, very sustainable. Unless this will not happen, for sure. I'm to be frank with you, I'm not less sure for the others one. I listened to the speech from the authorities, and it's very, the ambition is very clear. I think we'll see, to be frank with you, I'll see what happens in the coming years. So we are at the turn. We'll see whether they are able to deliver what they claim or not. This will happen in the 10 coming years, and we'll see that.
I mean, of course, you allude to this. There is this suspicion from the West. There's whole issues around women, all that sort of stuff. But these are quite often these are preconceptions and stereotypes. I'm not particularly concentrating on that aspect, the female rights issue. But generally, we are in danger, aren't we, of thinking that a country is like something, a people are like something until we get there. We must all experience that. When we get to somewhere, we think, oh, I never thought of, number one, people are fantastic. Number two, maybe I should just get rid of some of my preconceptions. So I guess the ultimate point is, unless you go, you will not really be able to judge.
Exactly. That's why we absolutely need to travel. And that's why it's very important. I didn't mention that, but I fully agree with you. It's a very, in a way, very courageous from their side to decide, because when they decide to develop tourism, it's of course, for economic reasons, and we all know that. But it's also a change for the society itself. Because when you are ready to welcome people from outside, you need to make sure it will work. You need to have changes within your own society. And in that way, it's very impressive. And it's another reason why we need absolutely to resume travel and tourism.